Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Retro Vintage Spider-Man Wave 2. This is the Symbiote Spider-Man, Black Costume Spider-Man, whatever you want to call him. But this is one of the most highly anticipated figure releases. I believe it was just Jay Hernandez that got the official reveal for this figure. And it's just one I've been wanting to get my hands on. Not only do we get the retro buck used from that retro Spider-Man, we get my favorite costume of all time, the black costume, the symbiote suit. So it's very, very, very exciting. We have a couple of different iterations of the black costume. We have here this version of Peter Parker that came in the 2-pack with Kraven the Hunter, but you can see the battle damage Peter Parker head sculpt. This one would be actually the cloth version, I believe, so it's not actual like the symbiote suit. Here was more of a modern, or from a couple of years ago, symbiote suit. That was in the Kingpin wave. And then we have the OG version from the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, which used the Pizza Spider-Man body mold, which at the time was really good. But over time, they've just released better and better body molds to what we have here today. So very excited. So let's get these three versions out of the way. And the funny thing is, the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave is the only one that actually has the dot on the back of his hand. This new one does not. And it has thwip hands, but in the symbiote suit, he didn't use the thwip. He did it out of his fists, right? Out of the back of his hand. So this one, even though it says Symbiote Spider-Man, is it really the Symbiote Spider-Man, or is it just like the cloth suit version? I guess it's kind of hard to tell. But anyway, we get the retro card back, the Toy Biz homage to the Spider-Man the Animated Series. The call out here just says Symbiote Suit, because he doesn't really come with anything, just additional hands. But Symbiote Suit Spider-Man. Here on the back of the package, we get the awesome artwork there in the corner, and shows the swappable hand feature. All of the figures in the wave, and I do have all of them, so I'll get to them as soon as I can. But I have the Doctor Strange wave that's going to be coming in soon. We got from ToySnowman.com up in Canada. I also have the 20th anniversary Iron Man figure, the Toy Biz Marvel Legends 20th anniversary Iron Man. I have that on the way from Toy Snowman as well. So a lot of other figures. So this one might get broken up a little bit. I know there's a lot of other good folks out there that are doing reviews on these figures. So stay tuned for their reviews if mine don't go up before theirs, or come back to mine afterwards. But anyway, the bio for Symbiote Suit Spider-Man reads: Spider-Man gets an all-new look when he finds a sleek black costume in a space shuttle wreck. Little does Spidey realize he's joined himself to the predatory alien symbiote Venom, which I have a Venom figure here for you guys, which would be the animated series, the retro cardback Venom, which is one of my favorite figures, of course. So, yeah, looking really, really nice together. But let's get that Spider-Man out of the package. Okay, so here is the Symbiote Spider-Man figure out of the package, and he is a really, really good one. But I will tell you, if you have this retro Spider-Man figure, you know exactly what you're getting with the Symbiote Spider-Man. It's been, like 2 years since this one has come out. And what a fantastic figure. And this one, again, does not disappoint. It does have a new head sculpt, so that is something that it is different. And then we actually get the wall crawling hands with this one that we did not get with the classic blue and red. We get thwip hands, as you can see here. And then we also get fists. So fists, thwip hands, and wall crawling or open hands. All the accessories that this figure comes with. And he doesn't really need to come with more webs and stuff like that. Would all be great. But yeah, what a fantastic figure. So let's get in for a closer look and see the cool things. It reminds me of like the Venom figure when I talked about like the spider logo and how it's painted on there, or how the paint is applied on there. Same thing on this figure, which I think is definitely the right decision. So let's get in for a closer look of this Symbiote Spider-Man. Okay, here's an up-close look at the Symbiote Spider-Man figure, and I really, really like it. I like the eyes. The eyes weren't always that big. Like, if you look at the Sandman Build-A-Figure, the eyes were huge, and while it doesn't look bad, I kind of like the way the smaller eyes looked. And if I remember from, like, especially the cartoon and looking up images from the comics, the eyes weren't all that big. Now, of course, there may be times where they were really expressive and looked very large, but it just kind of depended on the artwork. A lot of times they were kind of on the smaller side. So I really like the new head sculpt. It's not that the white is just painted on there. It's actually sculpted around and then paint applied into where the lens would be. So that does look really nice. I have seen a swapped head with this head on here, and it still looks pretty good, and I will do that here in the video so you guys can see how it looks. But looking at the figure, all black, white on the back of the hands, no black dot, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Looking at the spider logo there, and for the most part it is pretty clean. It looks a little thick, and it's because I think they use a little bit of a different technology, not the normal paint that's applied on figures and things like that, but the way the white is on there, it's almost like it's printed, you know, like a digital print on the faces and things like that. Sometimes you'd see it like with die-cast cars and stuff. It looks like it's printed on, as opposed to however they do it, whether it's like through brushes or anything like that. You can kind of see the lines of the paint on there, but it's the same thing. So these two, so if you have this Venom figure, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the spider logo, same thing goes here. So the white is all paint, the black that's in there is actually the plastic. So that paint, those black lines are not painted on there, so you can feel the grooves of the different white lines, different from how the previous black costume Spider-Man figures were. So the white was all painted, and then the black lines to separate the legs of the spider, those black lines were all painted on there over the white. So it's very different how it is, and I really like it better now. So if you look at like this figure, looking at his rib cage, you could see some of the black showing through of that white, whereas the legs, the spider legs here are the paint, and they're applied on there, and look how clean it's done. A little misaligned there, that's not that big of a deal, but looking at it, the lines are all applied very clean, very straight. They look very, very, very good, and the white of the spider looks very good as well because it's all clean. And again, I think it's some kind of print technology that they have to apply the paint. I really have no idea. I don't work in the factory, and I'm not even going to pretend to know. To me, that's what it looks like, and I think that's what's going on. But it came out looking very, very clean, better than Sandman Wave that we got, better than the Kraven the Hunter 2-pack Target exclusive that we got. It's just applied very, very nicely. While we're here taking a closer look, so let's go ahead and pop these heads off and see how they might look. We are on a dumbbell joint with this new body mold. That should not be a surprise. So we can pop this head on there, and that looks pretty good as well. The shape of the head is a little bit different, so we're a little bit narrower, fits on there a little bit loose, not too wobbly. The blacks are pretty much a match, so that could work if that's the look that you wanted to go for, but I do prefer this head sculpt on there. I just think it looks and fits the body a little bit better, because this head sculpt is a newly sculpted one, so it fit perfectly with the body, whereas the retro Spider-Man figure, sometimes I feel like the head is a little too small the more and more that I kind of look at it, and I'm looking at it now, it's like, man, it looks really small. So I think this one is definitely a great head sculpt for the figure to add on there. Looks really good. So now let's zoom out for his articulation. Okay, so the dumbbell joint for the head does limit somewhat. So we can look down that much to look up. We do have a cut in the back of the neck that allows the peg to go back a little bit. It doesn't go back a whole lot, but you can get some motion. But you do see some gap in the neck, but that's kind of how you can get him to look up and out that way. You get a full rotation in there, and we get some crazy, crazy pivot when you get those dumbbell joints for the head. So the arm, the shoulder, you can get it to go straight out like so. You get a full rotation in there, but it's this one's kind of tricky because of the butterfly joint, but you can't get the full rotation in there. The butterfly joint, so you can get the arm to go back a crazy, crazy far. Coming forward, if you want to do, you know, some crossbody, you can do some there, as you can see, and that is really good. upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow. One thing, unfortunately, at the time that the Spider-Man retro figure was released, they had not yet gone pinless. So that is unfortunate. The Armored Spider-Man is a pinless Spider-Man figure. The upcoming Iron Spider that D Amazing did a full review and showcase on is pinless, but this one is not. Luckily, it is an all black. There's no paint, so the pins really aren't that noticeable. There's a little bit of gap that you see, but that is not that big of a deal for me at all. So double jointed elbow, a little bit more than 90 degrees or just about. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. We have the inverted ab crunch and the diaphragm rocker, so we can pivot to the left that much. You can pivot to his right that much. You can go back a little bit. You can come forward a little bit, but you have that ab crunch, so coming forward in total you can get that much. Going back in total, you can get that much. So lots of range of motion in there. With that though, there is no waist swivel. You have a swivel at that diaphragm joint, which can, in a lot of cases, get you a more natural looking movement for the figure. It breaks up the paint, unfortunately, but you can get a little bit better movement that way. This figure does have the drop down leg function, so you can see you can pull the leg down, which then allows you to extend that leg out a little bit more than you would be able to normally on a normal figure. So that is great that we actually get that, because kicking forward you're only going to get that much, but when you drop it down you're able to get it higher and up and out and everything. So that's great. You have an upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee like so. We do have a calf swivel in there. Foot hinges down, you get hinge up, ankle pivot, pickles at the bottom of the feet, and unfortunately they are not painted blue like you see on the cover, where you can see his feet and you get the blue. Mafex is going to actually be doing that with their upcoming Symbiote Spider-Man, so that'd be really cool. But yeah, there is his articulation, just what you would expect from this Spider-Man retro figure if you haven't. I know a lot of folks missed out on it. It was extremely difficult to find. I never once saw this hanging on pegs in a store anywhere. It's all, you know, I was able to get mine online, but yeah, I was never able to find, you know, an extra one just to pick up if I saw it in store, because it was crazy. So it shouldn't be too bad with this, as Target is getting them. Some stores are getting 1 or 2, or some stores are getting full cases of 6, but the way that they're doing, they're receiving Marvel Legends, they're getting solid cases, individual shipments, as opposed to the assortment cases. So maybe it'll be a little bit easier to get your hands on this Symbiote Spider-Man, because I know he's definitely the most popular in the wave, and rightfully so. He is really cool. Even if, you know, with the Spider Armor figure, while I think this is the better figure because it's new, we haven't had a Spider Armor figure. This one's still going to be my favorite of this wave, but this one is right there at second place. Definitely. It's just because we've had multiple symbiote suit Spider-Man's black costume. That's why he wouldn't take the #1 spot in this wave for me. That goes to the Spider Armor. But again, still a fantastic figure, and I'm excited because Ben Reilly uses the same body mold. So we're getting more and more Spider-Man figures with this body mold, where it's taken 2 years to go from this one to this. So we're getting more. I still want more. Keep them coming, Hasbro. Keep them coming. Okay, the Spider-Man Retro Wave 2 so far, we have looked at Shocker, Spider Armor, now Symbiote Suit Spider-Man, and I threw Venom back there because he's a Spider-Man Retro carded figure, kind of around the same time-ish, but all looking really, really nice together. So all of our different black costumes, Spider-Mans, the Symbiote Spider-Mans, you know, the newer to the older, this one is just night and day difference in how much better the body is. You know, the really thin Pizza Spider-Man, where it was really nice at the time, you know, it was all new body mold that we got, very cool. It's just really become dated, and then the thin legs are kind of a problem. The shoulders can get a little bit wonky at times. He's super, super thin. So I'm really glad that we're getting this new Spider-Man body mold, and I'd love to see every Spider-Man use this new larger size body, because it just makes for that much better of an action figure itself. And I'm really, really excited that, again, my favorite costume we actually get on the new body mold. Looks really good. But you guys let me know down in the comments below which one of the Symbiote Suit Spider-Man figures is your favorite. It's probably not the Kingpin wave. You know, that modern iteration, you know, the bare feet, and then the lens flares are kind of weird. The spider logo, I think, looks pretty cool. but it's definitely the OG for me, the original design symbiote suit Spider-Man. Last minute edition video clip. The Kraven the Hunter head doesn't, it pops on there, but it's real wobbly loose, but the head looks just too big for the body. So for Kraven's Last Hunt, if you wanted to do that, I don't think it looks very good, but you know, maybe on certain perspectives and angles, you might be able to get it to work, but I don't think so. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. There's my review of the Symbiote Spider-Man figure. An absolute must pick up, I think, for everybody. Easily going to be the best figure of the wave for a lot of folks. For me, it's Spider Armor because of that particular suit, and it's all new, so it really got me excited. Throwback to when I was a kid and had the Toy Biz version from the animated series. It's everything that I wanted, so I'm extremely happy with it. That's the reason why that one takes the #1. But I think this one's going to be a lot of folks' #1 because it's the black costume, very recognizable. People are going to be picking this up, you know, any chance they see it. So definitely a great figure that I think a lot of you guys are gonna want and will be buying. You know, just a matter of time before pre-orders start to ship out from other sites. You know, Dorkside has shipped out some orders, so you know other retailers should be following suit soon. But yeah, what an awesome figure. The things that you could do with this, you know, with your regular Spider-Man and your Peter Parker's, your Venom figures and everything to recreate so many iconic moments. It's just really cool. Here's one from the Spider-Man the Animated Series where Spider-Man is chasing down Shocker. He says, "Shocker, I'll chase you down to the ends of the earth," and everything. And this symbiote actually forces Shocker off of that ledge. Which is pretty crazy. So I tried to kind of recreate that here. I've had this kind of in my mind for a while, and I'm just not that great in photography. I did snap a couple of pictures. It's not the greatest in you know, some of the pieces that I have to try and do it, like this balcony piece and kind of how large it is and how I had to get it set up to be able to do it was kind of tricky, like he's straddling him and stuff, and obviously that would not be correct. But that's kind of the best thing that I have to be able to do it. So I thought it was something a little fun to work on. You know, it's not something that I do too often, but I definitely wanted to try and get something going. And I think it turned out pretty nicely. You guys let me know down in the comments below. How do you think this looks? Do you think I did an okay job for a super amateur that I am? What do you think? But are you excited for this figure? Is it your #1? You guys let me know all that good stuff down in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.